Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing God of War 3 Remastered on Chaos difficulty, and this is my Pain Plus guided walkthrough. We're currently on installment the 15th. It is entitled Poseidon's Chamber. So, I actually came back to Redux this video, and you didn't need to know that, but I wanted to do some more testing on the Bronze Talos that we're going to fight coming up in a minute. And I've got some better footage and some more research done on that enemy, because it's a confounding enemy sometimes to think about, because it has this color change to it, and it's difficult to tell whether it's just a slogfest through and through, which on Pain Plus it's going to be. But if you have to be unremitting about hitting it and not letting it cool off too much, I have had times where that enemy just seems to take longer when you let it cool down too much. So you'll see it get to this piping yellow, and I know we're not even on it yet, but we will be. There's 3 encounters with this particular enemy. The first of which, there's 2 of them, and you can whore a certain area, which I'll show you. The second encounter takes place on this video as well, and you can bring him out by letting him drown in some water. And then the third encounter is by far the most difficult, because it's I believe it's in installment 20. And I've just completed it, no damage, and it's 2 of them, and then a Cerberus mongrel, and then 2 more of them. But you can use the mount to kill the last 2, well, most of them. If you follow my strategy, we will be using the mount to kill most of the dogs, because I can't tolerate the dogs jumping on me and ruining no damage runs. So let's just, we'll get there in a minute. This fight over here is just utter shit. The reason I didn't fight the previous fight with these Guardians is because it's worthless. This is a mandatory fight, so we do have to do it. Falling back and letting the dogs come to you is not viable all the time, because they don't always come over there and let you stay in a safe area. So that's regrettable. There's the Bronze Talos right there. It's an interesting enemy, but it's an enemy that was designed for you to use the cestus on, and it's a matter of it taking, like, I'm not sure, like 45 seconds. I don't even think it takes a minute, versus like 5 minutes or longer. And I've had some pretty cheerless sessions on the third encounter with them, because it's not difficult to no damage them, but it's yet another section where you've got a bunch of dogs to fight at the same time as you're fighting as a mongrel. So I've got a great way of dealing with it. Different from than when I did it last time, but it's still going to be no damage. But this is going to be more a more thoughtful application of it for most of the people that can't tolerate the dogs jumping on you. They're not whelps, they're mongrels, but they still can cause you problems. They're fairer than the whelps, though. I like that. They're a little bit fairer. They're not as aggressive. And when they jump on you and multiple of them jump on you, it's about the same BS you can expect. But the mongrel, when he pins you to the ground, if you do the quick time event, you can get out of it unscathed, I'm pretty sure. So we honestly don't have much to do until that fight, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit more. But this enemy undergoes a color change when you hit it a lot, and it breaks and it loses armor. I think it breaks 4 times, and then you have to hit it more and then get the circle. But it has this very distinctive piping yellow to it that represents you've hit it a lot, and that it's going to the armor is going to break. But if you hold back, oh, by the way, you only have to kick 4 of these shithouse dogs into the portal here. But there's conflicting views about the Bronze Taloses. Should you just spirit whore? Should you just trade blows with them? Blocking, of course, not taking damage, because you can't take much damage on them. Well, you can spirit whore in this first area because there's a nifty spot where you can stand. That makes this encounter easy, but I'm telling you, the one that starts in the labyrinth, it's anything but easy. It's very grueling, and it has to be done in a very specific way, because you can actually have 3 sets of enemies all coming after you at once. You can have the mongrel, you can have these little shitty dogs, and you can have any unfinished Bronze Taloses. So I like this part because you can't like accidentally grab her when you're kicking the dogs, so that kind of nonsense doesn't happen. But yeah, there's 3 encounters with them. The second one takes place near the end of this video, and there's just one of them. But the first and the third encounters, there's 2 of them at the same time. Now, it doesn't matter on this first encounter if you get the circle button over both of them, as we did with the stone taloses. These guys, I'm serious, they must have 5 times as much HP as the stone ones, or more. So it's like I said, it's a big slogfest. So I will show you the spot. It's right near the area where there's a couple of red chests, and unfortunately, do you see this when I'm hitting him? We got a little bit of hits registered, but they have to be down from their pedestal before you start hitting them. Now I'm going to be doing some super plumes over here, and for the most part though, on this encounter you can get away with a ton of square triangle attacks. That's the best thing to do on them for a combo. But on the third encounter with them, you're not going to be able to do combos. So enjoy this while it lasts. It doesn't carry over. You can do a little bit of spirit hoarding on the third encounter, but by and large, it doesn't work too well. But if you go over to the right where the chests are and have them follow you a little bit and you hit them, they'll take a swing at you, but then they'll walk back. So that allows you to generally get off 2 TSTs, which is a very heavy and damaging combo, even though your blades are only at level 1. So again, it doesn't matter if you get the circle over both of them at the same time. It will matter on the third encounter with them, which is not happening now, so we don't really need to focus on it, do we? But they have over 500 HP, and I think the stone ones have 100, so that can kind of tell you how much this is. They might even have more than that. But when you do the TST, if you don't have time, if you're thinking about initiating it and they are going to take swings at you, you can just do triangle and then do chipping damage with the S. So that's definitely the way to go. You can do spirit whoring, but you need to be on these guys with unremitting hits, and their armor, I think it does break even if you don't hit it, if you just let them like overheat, and then it'll break slowly. But I'm telling you, I've had a lot of encounters. I was on encounter 3 for 10 hours last time, and this time it was like 12 hours. I got lucky last time. It was really bad this time. Since this is not a situation where we have to get the circle button over both of them, I just wanted to mention, because I'll be bringing it up in the third encounter with these. Say you're trying to get the circle over both of them, and one of them has a lot more life than the one that had the circle. So you get the circle over one, right? The other one, say you haven't been hitting him enough, and you have to maybe go through 2 armor breaks to get his circle. You're going to end up killing the one that already has a circle, because unless you're moving around a lot, you're going to waste a lot of time trying to space yourself, trying to divide these enemies, and just hit one, where it's just a big waste of time. So you need to be hitting them simultaneously, at least get into the practice of that, because there's no nifty spot, and there's no ringing these enemies out. And one part of the reason too is these are the enemies I was talking about. They're called Olympus Guardians. The Legionnaires are called Sentinels. It's basically just one of these guys with an onyx shield. I hate these enemies. Probably one of the most irritating enemies in the game. But I can't hit them with the cestus, or I'll violate one of the laws. So I have to hit them 3 times and then just execute. One of the big problems is overhitting that enemy, because then you start hitting him with the cestus, and while it doesn't really matter because you're just going to execute him anyway, I try to stay within the rules just for the sake of the walkthrough. I've put a lot of time into this walkthrough, and I want it to be represented in the best way that I possibly can. Now, this fight over here, I don't think this one's too bad. Now, the Bronze Talos aggroes with these ones, but it's just 2 shield guardians, and by the time that you take care of them, the Bronze Talos should be coming right over to you. And what you want to do is just have him follow you over to this area, jump over the water, and he'll drown. So it's a nice way to quickly dispose of an irritating enemy, and it's perfectly acceptable under Pain Plus to do that. You could also kill them with the mount that will be getting our hands on in that third encounter. Hers is the most brutal death. I don't understand why he just didn't use one of the Guardians, pin them up like that. You know, why did she have to have this horribly brutal, unnecessary death? But again, I guess this is Kratos. So I'm going to do a little bit of skipping over here as we arrive at Aphrodite's chamber. I broke the world over here, so you're going to see the door is transparent, and I also, until I get through the portal, my camera view is different, so you'll see that as I roll over here to the portal. Okay, that has been Poseidon's Chamber. I will see you in the 16th installment. Please take care.